All right, I'd like to call this special called hearing to order. We have a quorum here, and so in terms of Ms. Chandler.
Thank you, Judge Borman. We have a notice of opposition that was filed in the McDonalds USA versus, or McDonalds USA LLC, care of several people. It's the Planning Commission. Case number is 2026-23-C-County. Ben's here in case anyone has any questions of him. We have Tony Adams here who filed the notice of opposition. And so generally what we do, because this body has approved a hearing on the record, we would allow Mr. Adams to speak about 5 minutes. Are there any proponents here? So is anyone here that owns the property or owned the property? You're the proponent. And so you would have the ability to speak as well on behalf of that. And when you come up, if you'll state your name and state your address, at the conclusion of the hearing, or when you're finished speaking, the magistrates and the county judge executive have the ability to ask questions of you, so they may do that. Magistrates, you also have the ability to question Mr. Peterson if you have any questions regarding that. Judge Borman, of course, you do as well. And then we will conclude the hearing. The vote actually takes place when we're voting on the ordinance, and it is on our regularly scheduled agenda. Judge, I would just ask that you move that up as quickly as you can. I don't know what item that is, but I'll figure it out and I'll let you know. Just move that up as quickly as you can at the top of our agenda.
Number 8? Mm-hmm. No, I will.
Okay, so the hearing is called to order. And Mr. Adams, if you'd like to go first, and if you'll just approach the microphone and if you'll state your name and your address, and then you've got approximately 5 minutes. Don't have to use it all.
Okay.
You've got 5 minutes.
Thank you guys for having me. Tony Adams, 302 Atlanta Way, Bowling Green, Kentucky. My address backs up to where they were trying to put the McDonald's in. I have learned more about zoning than I would ever care to know, and I appreciate you guys for having me and what you guys get to learn and work on every day. I was just telling a gentleman earlier, my wife and I went on vacation, and I came to one of these earlier and I heard you guys talk about places that don't have zoning commission, and I drove through a town that did, and what I saw there was just what you explained. And so I think this very pose going from general business to highway business, I'm very much so in favor of people making money off their property. I am, and whatever they want to do with it until it affects somebody else. And having a McDonald's backed up, this will be the first one in our area. I've driven every fast food restaurant here in town, and every one of them, none of them backed up to a subdivision, which is what this is backing up to. Some of the issues that I've learned through this, compatibility of where that's sitting, backing up to where it's at. Again, I'm about growth. The class, I'm a teacher. The class I'm actually in this morning is geography and economics, and we're actually talking about businesses and how they decide economic growth, where they're going to put themselves. And one we always talk about is the great Corvette plant. It's sitting right on I-65. You get right off of there. You can pick up your cars, drop off your cars. But I don't think this is the type of thing that we need to have in the area. The other thing, a lot of trees are going to be cut down. I was looking at the initiatives that you guys spoke of that were mentioned in the report. Up to 40 trees would have to be cut down by looking at the map. That's the one thing about our area, that it is city feeling, but with that country feel also, that we're very lucky to have. And when we start cutting down all those trees, that's going to be, I think that's a big negative for our area. Me personally, where the speaker's going to be at, there was a variance where they could move it closer to where my area is at according to the paperwork. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, I go work out, and I go to school. The reason I can do that is because I live in a quiet area. And numerous people in our area do the same thing. And for me to work for our community, work with the kids that I work with, the teachers I work with, I'm able to do that because at night it's quiet. At 12 a.m., listen to a speaker approximately 60 to 75 feet from my back porch. It's not really something I want to do at 12 a.m. So, and then that's going to affect everybody else in the area. There was a mention of putting up some type of protection barrier. I'm all about that. That was not identified. I tried to contact McDonald's lawyers. They contact me once to my 5 calls, and then when I called back, they didn't answer. So that was not really identified within the variance of what they were gonna put up to try to protect that. I don't know how you're gonna protect that. I've looked at other areas, Myers, there's a big fence that runs all the way down with mature trees in front of it. If this passes, that's what I'm gonna ask for, if we're allowed to ask for that. And then the other things, there's a lighting nuisance, a noise nuisance. All those things are why I do not think this needs to go to highway business. I think we need to keep it at general business. I don't really care who they sell to. There's already been variances put in the type of businesses that were there. And originally I thought that's what it was gonna be, and we did not fight that at all. We're like, we get it. But I do not think this needs to be highway business. This needs to remain general business because of our neighborhood. We have small children that live back there. The noise variance is what I'm really worried about, and the nuisance. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, does anyone have any questions of Mr. Adams?
I'm just going to ask one quickly. Thanks for coming, Coach. We appreciate you being here and sharing the concerns with it. So you reached out to the attorneys for this development, correct?
I did. I was just reading case law. I found out that you need to reach out to them just in case it passes.
Okay, well, that was, I think that's always wise, and I would hope they would have some type of communication with you. I think you've got valid points, they've got valid points, and you're in the middle of this, and so I think a lot of times I feel like you're at the negotiation point of how do you, if that's the direction, then how do you make that work best? And I would encourage to keep doing that too, but I want to make sure you had reached out to them, so great, thank you.
Hey, I've got one question for you. As far as you're talking about the speaker being within 70 to 80 feet or something from your property line, what kind of a decibel level are we talking about here? Like, because a truck driving by your house makes noise as well, or airplane flying over if you're close to the airport. Like, what are we talking about as far as the noise level of the?
Well, if I bought a house next to the airport, I would already know that the airport's going to be going over that.
How loud is what I'm saying? Is it going to be 100 decibels? Is it going to be 30
I think it would be
decibels?
much louder than, because I've got trees right now blocking a lot of the noise. I don't really pay attention to it. We've lived there long enough. But I believe the noise would be much louder. I mean, if you think, what is 60 feet, the corner of that room? That's different from 300 feet. And so, I believe it would be very loud. My wife and I walked out there and she could very easily talk to me from where that was at. And so, that was the main concern. That's the main concern is it being right there.
Are you saying if they were to put up some sort of a sound barrier, like a wall or something like that, that would be something that would?
It would have to meet our specifications, by looking at other case laws, and it can't, it can't be just a 6-foot fence. It's gonna have to be something that is, because close your eyes and think about your house where you live, and a McDonald's being behind your house. Like, just think about that portion of it. And yes, it would have to be something conceivable, but there's no way to block the noise or the light completely, because they are a business. They need to protect their business, and they're going to have lighting. So now the lighting is going to be increased and the noise. So that's our neighborhood's main condition, is that we just don't want that, even with something blocking it.
Gotcha.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Adams. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
And if you'd like to approach, and if you'll state your name and address as well, and then we'll give you 5 minutes also.
Josh Baker, 5558 Scottsville Road. I'm totally unprepared for this morning. I didn't expect to do this, but I just have one point. Mr. Adams and his family moved into their home in 2013. 2014, it was voted in to the flume, the future land use map. So they had approximately, 12 years to prepare for this. I don't really have anything else to say But just thank you for hearing this, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baker. I appreciate you coming today too, so.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Baker? Okay. Any questions that you'd like to address to Mr. Peterson?
Yes, ma'am, if I might, Ben. All right, just making sure I understand what I've read and looked properly. Have they imposed certain barriers, any landscape barriers, anything that's going to help with the concerns that Mr. Adams has, you know, in conjunction with his property and the adjacent properties? I know when you put a McDonald's in, there's light and there's noise, and it is. But have you put any restrictions in your proposal or in their proposal that's going to help address some of these issues?
So McDonald's plan itself has two things related to noise and barriers. If you look at their design, they're going to have a 2 to 4 foot retaining wall, so the actual business will be set down 2 to 4 feet lower than the grade at the back. So that is one minor thing. The second thing regarding the speaker, McDonald's has new technology which they submitted information as part of their application to mitigate that noise and keep it at the car level, and it's acoustic barriers and new technologies to mitigate sound on the speaker. And so that was presented as part of the variance application. And as far as the trees and the barrier itself, it's not in the proposal because it's required by the zoning ordinance. There will be what we have called an incompatible use buffer. So there will be 6 evergreens and 3 deciduous trees for every 100 feet along that back property line. So there will be that incompatible use buffer there that will go between that access road in the back and that back property line. And then similarly with light, there's also built into the zoning ordinance a light trespass, if you will, or a light pollution ordinance to where light cannot exceed half a foot candle at the property line, cannot go past that, and then all light has to point downward and inward to that property and cannot trespass onto other people's properties.
But no agreement to put any kind of a fence or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of with this, no.
All right.
Those are binding elements that you're talking about right there, Ben, is that what you're?
A combination of the binding element that they committed to on the speaker technology, but then it's just hard-coded in the zoning ordinance required of every business regarding the light and the incompatible use buffer with the
Have they
landscaping.
told you how loud it would be, what the decibel level would be? That
No.
would be comparable to traffic on the road or anything
No.
we know about?
They did not do a sound study.
And we can't unduly impose that they would require to put a fence up. That's something we can't require, or they may agree to it, but I mean, is it something?
Generally, you could probably request that of them, and I'm gonna look to Ms. Chandler to correct anything I say, but at this point, I would say no.
I agree with them. I think you could request it, but they wouldn't have to do it.
And then at some point, when you start discussing property line fences, where do the trees go, and then how does that work? So sometimes it becomes an either or
So
proposition.
the plan is not to take all, they have to put some trees up as a typical buffer, landscape buffer that's required in all issues like this.
Correct, when you have that use of commercial, but between commercial and residential, yes.
Good question.
When did this piece of property become available to be bought?
It's been for sale probably, gosh, years, several years, maybe even the entire time I've been here.
Gotcha.
Mr. Baker probably knows, long time.
Well, I inherited that property from my grandmother. She passed away in 23.
Okay.
So I've had it for sale since 24.
Okay, so 2 years. Thank
The
you.
other property's been for sale
Okay.
much longer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so this will conclude the hearing. The vote will actually take place when they consider the second reading of the ordinance, and our regularly scheduled fiscal court meeting starts at 9 a.m. And so we're going to move that up to the front, and I believe, is it number?
It's number 8 right now.
Okay, and so the judge has agreed to move that up to the front, so if you guys want to go get drink of water, cup of coffee or something. We'll be right back because it is 9:50 and he starts on time, so.
Okay, so this hearing's concluded. Thank you.